What seemed nice when you were a child, but when you grew up turned out to not be so nice. I used to love to play office and shuffle around papers etc. like I was at a job. Now that I actually do work in an office, not so much fun lol. I used to play school teacher as a kid who thought it would be the most fun in the world. I've been doing it for several years for real now, and while I do enjoy it, it's not the same kind of fun. To remind myself, I keep hanging on my classroom wall a photograph of the 6-year-old me explaining something on a child's blackboard. Staying up all night. I used to want to stay awake all night and play video games. Now if I'm awake past midnight, it takes me 2 or 3 days to recover. High heels. It's not that they're not nice, just not practical for my daily life. Moon shoes. Those duckers almost killed me like 20 times, but I loved them when I was child and was oblivious to just how dangerous they are. As a kid we used to swim in a pond that was mud at the bottom with areas you knew to avoid due to the leeches, and that we would occasionally have to evacuate for a while so my uncle could kill the snapping turtle that had come arcling. Now my aunt has an above ground pool 50 feet from that pond and my spoiled niece and nephew and cousins have no idea what it's like to sink your toes down into that muck, and adult me would avoid that like the plague. Getting dizzy. We had an uncle who was tall and strong and would spin us around one by one. We couldn't get enough. I remember after my spin, I'd just laugh as I couldn't keep my balance and watch the world spin. Now, I avoid getting dizzy like the plague. Money. $5 was like $1 million back then. Now I get paid $2K and it's gone in bills right away. As a child, I loved looking at the lobsters in the grocery store. I thought they sold them to be pets. Imagine my horror when I found out they are sold to be boiled alive and eaten. Earning money. Don't get me wrong, I like earning money just like everyone else. But it sucks that the majority of a paycheck can't be spent on Nerf guns and Legos. Living on a farm. I begged and begged my mom to buy a farm and have horses etc. I have never even liked to literally get my hands dirty. Though a horse would be nice. I was cured when someone moved into the neighboring farm and everything they owned was dirty, and the kids always had to help out with something on the farm. Eating a whole cake in one sitting. It was the dream. I should have learned from Matilda that it was a nightmare. A popular girl complimented me on my shoes. My mom had just gotten them for me from Old Navy, and I thought they were really cool. Were they really expensive? She asked. Were they like? She dropped her voice. $20? I smiled back, thinking it was cool that she must be responsible enough to buy her own clothes, cause I certainly didn't in grade 7. I nodded and said they were $19.99. Yeah. She smiled and walked away, and I was so excited to have been complimented by a person who was not only popular, but also a girl, that I wrote about it on my Harry Potter calendar and told my mom that the cool kids liked my shoes. It was earlier this year that I thought back on this nice memory and went wait. When I was a child I was told that a lot of people would be offering me drugs. More than that, the DARE program had these cartoons in sketchy alleyways that made the possibility of you being attacked for saying no to drugs seem real.